And here we are, spotted at the bottom right, in the blue. Master of Trickery and Wiles, he is.
Team NV, SOS.
And his opponent in the upper left, in the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, the best player in the WTL.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Cure.
So what does SOS have in store for us here in this grand finals? You could have a bunch of different things. I mean, he is SOS. I don't put anything past him. But I don't know whether he has... See, the issue with these all-kill formats is players like SOS, right? That are just these big sniper players. It's a little bit harder for them, right? Because they don't have a week to just prepare this like a dastardly build against one player. It's a dastardly set of builds against one player. Although that being said, I mean, SOS has historically been rather good in formats like these as well. I mean, if you remember, you know, his runs through IEM Katowice, through all these different online, these, you know, weekend tournaments where you don't have a week to prepare. Ooh, but I think we're gonna see a proxy starport, I think, come out from Kieran game number 1. Looking for a rather quick victory where he just drops Hellions and kills his opponent. You know, gets like 14 workers, probably 8 is the goal, but if he gets up to 14, that's probably just a GG out there from SOS. There we go. Proxy starport underway now. And this is a 1-base proxy starport, by the way. We don't have a natural underway. So this is very aggressive. You know what? We might see an armory. I mean, we do have Hellions underway now, so maybe I'm just wrong. There's a build that Kuro has gone for that I've seen him do where it's cloaked Widow Mines into Hellion drops. And it is off of 1 base. But I don't know if that's what we're going to see here from Kura's. The Hellions will reveal themselves, and 2 Hellions are not 1. That's a bit of a scary thing. SOS will get his Adept out. And actually, no, never mind. He won't. Looks like it's not going to go out all the way. So this Adept will die. And well, we have a medevac underway. Kira does need to make sure he runs back and repairs that Hellion. But, well, 4 Hellions are going to be on the field. Medevac halfway done. So Kira's just going for a 1-base Hellion drop. And SOS is, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to be aggressive too. Now, here's the thing, though. Even as this is kind of scouted, I don't know if Zest or SOS knows exactly what's happening, but he knows enough. He sees the amount of Hellions. He's like, okay, well, fine. Just doing something mean to me like that. So there is that. Actually, nice job there from SOS, making sure he has the vision of the drop coming on in. But no, Cure will be able to avoid it. So now we have the Hellions diving on in. SOS not pulling any workers. And I don't know exactly what he's focusing on, but we have the break-even point now. 8 workers are what you want. But they're just enough stalkers, which means it's only going to be 8 workers here. The Hellions will not get any more. There's a shield battery. So 8 workers kind of the break-even point in a normal build. But remember, this was off of 1 base. Not nearly as good. SOS still maintains a minor worker lead, and he's gonna jack that up rather quickly. Again, he does have you know, wow. Is Chrono. All right, so natural now done here for Cure, as he does run his starport ever so slowly backwards, but no, not quite. Moves it out of scout range 1, and then he drops the Liberator. This may catch SOS off guard. I'm somewhat surprised we haven't seen SOS get aggressive on the map here, but I guess what he's kind of realized is, okay, well, I took the break-even point amount of damage for that. Yeah, so I don't really have an imperative to move out on the map, and, well, it was only off of one base, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to break him anyway, so he's not going to do it. I mean, SOS is not known for his blink micro like parting is, for example. I mean, it's good, but it's not parting level good. Why are you confused, Sappo Man? Also welcome. All right, but actually, Stalkers, they're going to blink on past everything. Knock down one tank immediately. And yes, they will lose the Stalker for it, but a tank for a Stalker, absolutely worthwhile there for SOS. Oh, Liberator's going to siege up, but look at this. The Stalkers have found this starport, but they don't get it burning. Not yet. SOS pulls off a little bit too early, which is a bit annoying here. But now the Stalkers can blink on in. One tank's going to go on down, but a tank for a Stalker. Actually, maybe two Stalkers there. As they're just going to try to find some room to blink on down. There they do. Well, one Stalker getting very low, but it will be fine. Now we've charged on the way, +1 on the way here. As SOS, he's just trying to advance on into things. He's got a 6 odd worker lead. He's got a bit of a supply lead. I mean, nothing really to write home about. Yeah, I can tell you what they're going to do, Sappo Man. So we see what's happening here, right? +1 is done, or +1's underway. Charges on the way here. We see a Robo as well. So we see SOS. He's getting into like his standard, your standard Protoss arsenal, right? You 3 Colossus, charge lots, enough Stalkers to deal with any Vikings. And Cure for his part, well, he's gearing up for this +1 stim combat shield timing. I don't believe he has a. No, it does not look like he has a third orbital here. So it's all going to be now on whether SOS can recover from this, right? Or it can do enough to prevent the push from coming out and stabilize in time. That being said, the push is already out here from Cure. So SOS, he may be able to find some reinforcements as he moving on top and get one tank, and a Starker will go down in exchange. But I think it's going to be a lot more than that as the bio of the reinforcements looks to stim on in. Meanwhile, of course, we have Cure's main army on the bottom left. And this one, well, it's going to lock onto a Stalker. Knocking out a Stalker is nice, of course. I mean, it's more value than locking onto a Zealot. Now he's going to move on in. Tanks here on the left-hand side. Going to start shelling away at this Nexus. And there is one Colossus done, of course. But without extended thermal lance, it's not going to get a lot done all that quickly. Now we have a third tank joining on in. Charge is done, which is nice. That does make this hold a lot easier. But +1 is not done yet. It's not going to be done for quite a while. Neither will extended thermal lance. And Cure's army is big. I mean, it could be bigger, right? He's only up 5 army supply. But with these tanks staged up like this, it's looking rather likely that SOS is going to lose this base. That, or he's going to have to take an engagement rather soon to make sure that he is okay with that. Now he's going to do that right now here. Starks blinking on in. Zealot's getting on top of everything, and the Liberator was not sieged, so everything is going to go down here. Nice hold from SOS, and Cure cannot get the siege up once again. +1 is just about done. Extend thermal lance as well. This is not a position that Cure can really look to sit in, as the tank once again will go on down. Extended thermal lance is done. These Colossus are firing even stronger as the Zealots continue to move on in. Once again, the tank's going to siege up, but it's going to die. And Cure has overextended, it feels like, in this game. So it looks like SOS wants to waste no time in getting out on the map here, getting aggressive. All right, he has 2 Colossus, one of which is rather heavily damaged, but still fine. And he's opening up attack paths, right? He's knocking down rocks, so he's going to be able to deal with tanks a little bit easier later on. But I guess he's not interested in attacking up into the Terran at this point, which is fair. But oh, look at this. Cure, he's going to lift his main base to his third. So this is just committed 2 base aggression here. Stalkers to blink on forward. 1 medevac goes down. 2nd medevac goes down as well. And even with the blink forward, knocking down a bunch of stalkers, these 2 Colossus are just raining havoc from above. I really like what SOS is doing here, right? It's not getting a lot done. Okay, the medevac will be, or the warp prism will be forced on out. It's not getting a lot of damage done, but what it is doing is whatever damage it can find. So, yeah, Cure, he's in a decent economic position. Not great. His army is marginally bigger, but SOS just kind of sitting here picking at the edge, just knocking down supply depots for free and whatever else he can find for free. Is that this eventual attack, this eventual engagement that happens is going to be much more SOS favored. Because he's just removed things. He's just removed opportunities from Cure from the map. Okay, DT's going to run on into this 3rd base, knock down a decent amount of SCVs. The scan is going to be there, and the SCVs are going to be pulled on in, but because this is a 2 orbital build, I mean, oh, he's gonna get the Ghost Academy too, maybe. Because this is a 2 orbital build, that is effectively a 1 base Terran for the time being, and that's not fun. So now we have Ghosts on the field. How many Vikings do we have? That's the really big question here. All right, so now we have a fight kicking off in earnest. The one Viking is just getting targeted down immediately, and well, this is not the best fight for Cure once again. SOS up now 30 supply. Yes, some of that is in workers, but SOS still only have 52 workers. It's not like his economy is massive, but it's enough between like the 6 army supply lead and the 7 worker supply lead. That's what's making the supply difference there, I guess. Now, okay, 2nd robo underway. I believe SOS has 4 Colossus, which is again surprising. But when there are no Vikings on the field, these Colossus are just hard to deal with. So Zealots are going to find their way on into the 3rd base, knock down pretty much the last true mining base of the Terran at this point, because I imagine that a good portion of that natural has been mined on out, has been muled on out here. So Zealots, they're finding more and more value. 13 workers have died. Cure, he's in his last push, and whether it's going to work out or not, well, that's the question here, because again, he's in his last push. He will be able to knock this 4th base down rather easily, but it doesn't really matter whether he does or not, because the 4th base is not the target. The 4th base is not the goal. He needs to do crippling damage. He needs to do game-ending damage to SOS here as he's looking to get set on up outside of SOS 3rd base as he loses more and more workers here. 4 Colossus, 5 Colossus firing on strong. Yeah, EMPs do something. But, well, actually 4 Colossus now. Nice target fire there from Cure, because I believe he target fired that 1 Colossus that was just super low on health. But those Zealots, by the way, that have were out in the run by earlier. No, actually, no. 2nd set Zealots warping on in. The flank coming in from behind here from SOS. Disruptor shots as well, forcing all of the splits. And friends, Cure is dead. He's absolutely dead in this game. Down 50 supply. Stalker's gonna blink out, gonna warp on in to deal with this drop. And now Cure is down 20 army supply. He's down 34 workers. And yeah, this the rest of this drop should go down rather quickly. Cure is moving his stuff moving out on the other side of the map, and he's not really interested in leaving just yet. I think it's honestly, I think, yeah, surprised. Maybe he just doesn't have a clear idea of what SOS has, because Cure is kind of dead. He's only on 15 workers. 6 more workers go down. Oh no. he's going to have to spend a scan on a DT that gets out as well, which is even worse. Again, 2 bases, you're dropping as many mules as possible. You need your money. And when you drop scans, that's 250 minerals you don't get. Now, SOS, we have him here doubling the supply of his opponent. A lot of that's in economy, but hey, that's 30 army supply, 40 army supply right there. So SOS, I guess he's just going to wait to max out here. Get +3, get disruptors, do all that. DTs are going to warp on in defensively. Disruptor shot as well. It's going to force a lift up. Not in time, though. And once again, Cure just taking the bad ends of these trades. And there we have it. GG is over a bit ago, but now Cure coming to terms with that. And the upper right in the blue for Team NV, he is
Team NV SOS.
And his opponent at the bottom left in the red, looking to equalize things here in this second best of 2. He is
Cure.
Oh, they got me. The sound came in before the fly-in. Yeah, so not having enough Vikings for Colossus, sure, fine. That is an eventual. If we look at why he lost that fight in particular, okay, fine. One might also argue he lost the fight because his upgrades were not good enough. He was down in upgrades. One might argue he lost the fight because his army wasn't big enough. Sure, fine, because the Terran wants to be up in supply at that point. But really what it was he went for this 2 base all in. Didn't work, right? The siege up on outside of the 3rd base. And instead of like taking the 7-minute 3rd base like you would normally do, he says, no, I'm going to flip my main on over. I'm going to keep myself on 2 bases. I'm just going to continue this aggression. And in doing so, well, when SOS got zealots into the base and started just killing off so many workers, because you notice Cure was down like 15 workers at the end of the game, but even before then he was at like 25, he was at like 30 workers. And with that being the case, well, Cure just couldn't build the army that he needed. It wasn't a matter of whether he wanted to build Vikings or couldn't, or whether he should have built Vikings or shouldn't have. He just didn't have the money for it. Okay. So the question now is, what does Cure opt to do in this game? And really, even more than that, does SOS have any insane builds up his sleeves? Right, because, oh, here we go. Proxy Stargate. But this is interesting, right? Because this is not your normal Proxy Stargate. Normally that's off of 1 base and you get Void Rays and you move shield batteries, you do all that. I think this is just going to be Proxy Oracle against a 3-Rax opener, which I don't think I've seen. Notionally, Cure has the build advantage here. But man, if SOS can run on in against such an aggressive build, if he can just run his Oracle on in, get like 4 or 5 workers would be nice. Do all that. Well, that's going to happen. SOS, by the way, should be aware that this is a mass barracks opener now, because he's like, okay, I see the Marines moving out on the map. I'm like, and I got to deal with that. But SOS, it is 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and we do not have Warp Gate underway. That's a bit of a problem. He's even getting 2 more gateways, and he doesn't have Warp Gate on the way. He's just spending it on oracles, but I mean, you need Warp Gate. I cannot help but I'm see, with most players, I'm like, yeah, it's a mistake, right? But with SOS, I just can't help but wonder that this is just some sort of, next level play build where he's like, yeah, I'm going to get 3 gateways. I'm going to slowly build adepts, and then I'm going to move in a bunch of oracles on in, and I'm going to be able to blow things down. I don't know. But certainly, it's weird. Certainly, this shouldn't be happening. Normally. Here with the third base underway, this is not an all-in. SOS is just going in to 4 minutes and 20 seconds into this game with not a single warp gate. And he is going up to 3 oracles. Now there's warp gate. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. That is a mistake there. You see SOS. You look at his you just kind of look at his camera. He's like, it's synced up when he gets that warp gate. So he's not all that happy about that, and neither should he be. Warp gate is super important, especially against the build that Kira's gone for. 3 racks pressure. You need units to defend. And SOS just won't be able to. He's building slow adepts, and he is, say, getting stasis traps and things like that. But this is a scary army, especially with these marauders. This third base should just go down. Right, I don't believe that SOS is going to have enough to defend. Maybe if he can like snipe down a bunch of these Marines before they really want to spend a stim, but I don't think so. Well, warp gate is just... Oh, wait. Is he going to spin a... is he going to cancel warp gate? Oh, no, Kira. He found the perfect opportunity. Warp gate done in 7 seconds. Warp gate is going to get canceled. Wait, no, it's done. Warp gate completed. Oh, man. I thought warp gate was canceled. So now we have the oracles. They're going to fly on in, get as much damage as they can, find as many SCVs as they can, but there's not going to be a lot. Oh, warp gate was canceled? Not really sure. Anyway, my army's going to find this third base here, knock down the pylon, knock down a bunch of workers here because they're fleeing in the wrong direction. And SOS, he's AFKing on his oracles, which means they're really not getting a lot. Third base under fire here. And yes, okay, warp gate was canceled. We didn't see the denied pop up, but yes, warp gate did go on down. And yeah, this is GG. As Saboman has said, SOS will never build up a big enough army to deal with what his opponent has as long as he doesn't have warp gate. Hey man, what a mistake here from SOS in the grand finals. SOS, of course, the consummate competitor. He knows what it's like to be here, but so even the best players can make mistakes. So Probes are going to get pulled to try to defend this, but this is just dead Probes. Okay, should matter. Evercharge is going to get popped. It's going to go down as well here. This bio army will not be defeated. The oracles are going to fly on in, and maybe at the end of the day, the Marines, the Marauders will die, but 40 probes have died. SOS is on 24 workers. There is no hope. There is no prayer into getting back on into this game. There we have it. GG. BGG, in fact. It's not too happy about that one. SOS is going to fall down, and once again, we're equal here.